challenging, exciting, nerve-wracking.
I'm just happy that year one is done and over with. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
When it came to the actual job, when it came to the academic side of it, it was a lot. So I'm very relieved right now.
Yeah, it's just brilliant to actually be in the job now, to have gone through that the hectic first year, and now to be in the relative serenity of just doing the work. It's a bit like a switch has been flicked. You know, you've gone from social work trainee or student to, at the moment, social care assessor, but shortly fully qualified social worker once that's all gone through with social work England. So it's kind of, I don't know, it feels more legitimate. It feels like I can introduce myself as an actual person, as opposed to someone, I'm just here to, I'm a student, I'm here to learn, I'm very sorry. So it's just really nice. I feel like a legitimate human being. It's brilliant.
Stage where I'm just beginning my new job and induction, shadowing, getting to know the team. I've really enjoyed it so far. So right now, great.
I am terrified. I am absolutely terrified, but I think that is just because I care.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess I'm learning to trust myself more, and I'm learning that it's okay not to always know the answer as well. I think that was my big thing, is like, but what if they ask me something and I don't know the answer? And so many people say, "Wait, if you don't know it, you don't know it," and that's okay. You can ask, and it's okay to say to somebody, "I don't know that, but I can find that out," and that's okay. And I guess I am more accepting of that now, and more understanding that it is okay not to know everything, and that I'm not expected to be a walking encyclopedia of knowledge, that I can still ask questions. And I think that's the beauty as well of the ASYE year, is that you are still protected in some way. So I have still got that little bit of a safety net.
I'm in a full mental health team still. It's fantastic. Brilliant manager, have lovely colleagues, lots of different people to learn from, and I'm only 3 weeks in, so we'll see. But it feels brilliant and fulfilling.
Everyone's really supportive of one another, which is really, I couldn't have wished for a better cohort, better group. We are all going through the same thing. We're all going through the same pressures, the same deadlines, the same tensions, and you understand. Friends outside of it, when they hear you say that you've got an essay due, they're like, "Oh yeah," but the other three get it, because they know that, as well as managing a small caseload of people and doing work on placement, we've also got to be thinking academically and what we're going to be putting in our essay and how we're going to be writing it. So yeah, we kind of, it gelled us. It really, cemented a friendship, which I'm really pleased about. And I keep saying to them, you're stuck with me now, because I don't know anyone else in Cornwall.
And I'm really appreciative as well of the connections I've made. One of the people who I was in my unit with last year, we still all talk quite frequently, because obviously in the same unit, we still have to have meetings together. And she's been an absolute star, and she's done like this whole breakdown of what needs to be done at particular times of the year. And she's basically done my diary for me in a nutshell when it comes to academic aspects of things. So I just honestly, I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, I'm actually quite excited, to be honest. I'm quite excited to see what I learn, the research that I'm going to look into, and how I'm going to implement that into my practice now and in the future. So yeah.
There have been times when I've thought, I probably didn't do enough, but then I look back and think, actually, I really, like, one person, I really did make a really big difference in his life. He was in a care home, he didn't have any family, and he hadn't really had a lot of contact with anybody since COVID and everything, and his mental and physical health had really deteriorated. He was never a massive conversationalist, but I would say that by the end of it, we were talking, we went have conversations, and I was told by the home manager that I'd made a real difference in his life, and I felt really proud of that.
In Cheshire West, we have a reablement system, which is 6 to 12 weeks of support to build independence and things like that. And seeing how much that can improve people, it's very sort of outcome led. So you're looking to build independence in these things and restore something to people, as opposed to just saying, and now there will be someone coming in to support you all the time, which is probably more what I thought it might be, which is not the case. It is about increasing people's own abilities and building on what they have, giving them what they need to make the most of their lives where possible. So even though that long-term involvement isn't always there, because you're sometimes passing it on to another service, there's a surprising amount you can do in a short time.
Before I go to work, I'm like, you've put in the hard work, you've done all the lessons, you know what you're doing, you do know what you're doing, trust yourself.
Yeah.
And I have to keep, I do have to remind myself of that. But that's okay, because I know it is in there.
Not to get too irritated when not everyone's necessarily on the same page, because in social work there's a lot of different organisations that you're working with, and often it's about bringing organisations like housing, medical mental health teams, third sector organisations, bringing it together and figuring, particularly in something like safeguarding. If you're in a safeguarding process, you bring a lot of people together, including the police, and trying to get everyone to work together and read off the same hymn sheet in a way. And I can be very self-righteous at times, and sometimes you absolutely have to leave that behind. And if I wish I'd known, in terms of things I wish I'd known to sometimes shut up and listen to other people's points more before feeling irritable about it, which I feel I've possibly learnt now.
Always remember your why, and always reflect and be very, expect to be very boundaried from now as well. Because I don't know what background people are coming from. From this cohort, they came from all sorts of backgrounds. Some people have never even worked in mental health before. But I would say, coming from, because I was previously in a support worker role, and coming to this role, I definitely had to learn very quickly that you have to be boundaried, and being boundaried isn't a bad thing. Being boundaried can actually help everyone more, if that makes sense. Like making sure you have that protected time for self-care, make sure you have that protected time for your reflections. It does go a long way in the long run, because I had this attitude before where I was like, oh, I don't need to reflect, like I'm fine. But it is very easy to be in that autopilot mode, and that autopilot mode can lead to desensitization. So I would just want to add to anyone who is going to listen to this or whatever, to just, when it's time to reflect. When it's time for self-care, have that self-care in place. And that's what I'm saying.
Thank you. That's a brilliant end.